Datera delivers high-performance data orchestration and advanced automation to large enterprises and cloud service providers, reducing storage management and infrastructure costs by as much as 70%.
Building data centers has changed dramatically, and rack-scale architecture is helping. Rather than buying monolithic, dual-controller, expensive, single-vendor solutions and network solutions, Datera customers are disaggregating compute, network, and storage. Some are building pods. Others are using these composable layers to spin up applications quickly and spin them down just as easily, recapturing all that performance and capacity. Finally, we all love buying best of breed from our vendor of choice, and interoperability is critical. High performance for Datera customers means extremely low latency, very high bandwidth, and bringing their storage ever closer to their compute. Over the next 5 minutes, we're going to walk through, and this is a real customer example, how simple it is to begin with a very small Datera system comprising only 3 hybrid disk nodes in a single rack, and quickly, autonomically grow and manage that footprint to 6 mixed media nodes from 3 different OEM server providers across the data center, and enhance system performance, resiliency, and capacity with each node addition. Datera resources are dynamically composable. We support all the major container platforms, orchestrators, open cloud stacks. With Datera, your storage infrastructure becomes an almost invisible self-driving resource that delivers elastic data services to any app in the data center while automatically adapting to changes in the environment. We reduce complexity and add agility at the same time. Datera customers use our systems for a very wide variety of workloads, everything from high-performance relational and NoSQL databases, big data, analytic apps like Hadoop, predictive modeling apps like SAS and SAP HANA, custom apps running on high-performance file systems. With Datera, mixing heterogeneous nodes with different storage media and OEMs such as Optane and NVMe is effortless. These media combinations let you meet any SLA your customers or your employees might have, from Tier 0 workloads measured in sub-200 microseconds all the way through Tier 4 archive nodes measured in cost per petabyte. HCI, or hyperconverged infrastructure, claims to offer a very similar scale-out path, but Datera's flexibility and software-defined app-driven tuning has dramatic advantages over HCI. So in this video, I'm going to cover a scale-out similar to one of our larger customers, similar to one that they've recently completed. In 2017, one of our larger customers today decided to take a small footprint with Datera. As you can see, they had about 200 usable terabytes, maybe peak loads of about 100,000 IOPS. They were running 20 to 30 VMs. They were running Cassandra, a few other NoSQL databases, really fairly light load. We had 3 hybrid nodes in a very simple Datera system. These peak IOPS, they began to kind of hit the limit in 2018, and they said, we want to buy a very high performance node from you. We purchased from multiple vendors. In this case, it was a Supermicro server. We went ahead and we added, and we've already shown you how simple that is to do. We added a 4th node, and they had about 300 usable terabytes. Maybe more importantly, they had now, because they'd added an all-flash node, they had peaks and they had a little bit of headroom, peak IOPS of about 200,000. They added a few more applications. They added some containers. So again, very simple to add a node to the system. We've already displayed how easy it is to do that. And voila, they had gone to 4 nodes. In 2018, late 2018, we began to see a significant uptick in customers who are looking to purchase NVMe nodes. And probably the ones that we had tested the most were from one of our partners, HPE. This customer now grew their footprint again, actually pretty dramatically in terms of IOPS. They only had about 350 usable terabytes, but they had added very dramatically, in this case probably to about 350K, their peak IOPS, and the NVMe node, which actually was fairly inexpensive and didn't require all that many NVMe drives, was able to supply their additional needs. And in this case, they didn't add any new applications, but the applications that they were running all had grown tremendously in terms of the I/O that they needed to deliver. 5 nodes. We just heard from this customer that they want to make the ultimate jump to an Optane node. Again, it's not so much the workloads themselves that have grown, it's the peak intensity of those workloads, and it's the number of inbound requests that they're getting. Somewhere in probably late 2019, they're going to grow this to 6 nodes, and they will be adding an Intel Optane node. This will be HPE. And again, mixing and matching hardware vendors. That could have been Fujitsu. It could have been Dell. It could have been any number of vendors that we have supported. And we've got a hardware compatibility list, which I'll put in the description to this video. But now they've got almost 600K peak IOPS that they can hit. 6 nodes, all contained within the same rack, all very easily accessible to their applications. This customer is a layer 2 networking customer. We have customers who have done very similar with layer 3. The ease of growing the Datera system, the ease of taking this cluster from 3 nodes to 6 nodes is really what software-defined storage is all about. The flexibility, the interoperability, the composability. Whatever your application needs, you can very simply get there by adding performance and reliability with each node in the Datera system. We're just going to take about a minute here to show you that starting with a 3-node cluster, it's very simple to add the 3 additional nodes. We're simulating the customer in this environment. So let's go ahead now. You see that we have 3 online nodes. We're going to add a 4th node. Click Join Existing System, put in the system name, then click the Join button. Typically does not take very long, anywhere from 30 seconds to a minute. I'm going to do that for nodes 5 and 6. Now let's go back to the dashboard. Let's refresh. Still 3 online, and the 4th has now come online. It's been added to the system. Nodes 5 and 6 actually popped up concurrently, and you can see that we now have 6 nodes in this Datera system. So as you can tell, it's pretty easy to add an additional node or 3 in the Datera system. In the old dual controller SAN world, these simple upgrades for Datera would have been the worst of all worlds. Single vendor, high over provisioning expense, upgrade with the exact same bricks or nodes, homogeneous media, tough and slow migrations, or even worst case scenario, forklift upgrades with downtime. Not with Datera. Software-defined storage makes the disaggregation of the rack simple, composable, and it lets you do it all with standard server hardware. Thank you very much for joining us.
Learn more about how Datera brings the software-defined revolution to enterprise storage at datera.io and contact Datera for a free consultation.